Well, hello there. It's been a while. I've been running about the place, and so I thought I'd give you a wee update and a recipe for my favourite medicine, which will take me through winter time, and it contains vitamin C, E and A and all these fantastic plant chemicals, which are both anti-inflammatory, antioxidant and antiviral even. So so it contains 3 berries. I may even put an apple or 2 in the syrup, and let's do this. Okay, so let's start with this beautiful sacred tree, which is the elder. And the elder, when ripe, contains these beautiful, wonderful elderberries. And now the thing about elderberries is, as you can see, there's slightly lighter ones. You don't really want to put these in, as they still contain some cyanogenic glycosides, which will make you sick if you put too much in. In fact, I know someone who made a syrup for their husband, give it to them, and he was violently ill for 2 days. So just be aware of that. When you're harvesting any elderberries, you want to make sure that then you're gathering the beautiful black berries, which have this lovely juice and they taste really, really nice. So what I usually do is I just pick a whole bunch, and then I'll put that in my bag, and I'll grab a few more. Only ever take what you need, and make sure you ask permission to the tree, because obviously you're sharing this with the rest of the little animals living all around the area. And yeah, you never want to take too much. Just only take whatever you need at the time of harvest. You know, you can always come back if you find out that you don't have enough, but you know, little goes far, especially with this fantastic medicine. And right here we've got the sacred hawthorn tree, the fairy tree, and it's also the tree that tells you all the seasons, because you've got the berries coming in autumn, you've got the flowers in spring. There's nothing on it in winter time, and you've got all the beautiful leaves in summertime. And so yeah, you can use it as a calendar, more or less. And so the berries, the really delicious and nutrient-rich berries, are ready right now. In fact, they are really delicious. Well, they don't have much of a taste. I really like them, to be honest. I think they do. But you can make them into a syrup. I've seen people even make a ketchup out of them. But I'm going to harvest a few of these. So rose hips tend to be gathered after the first frost, because that's when they start developing their sugars and they go nice and soft. Now you can use them before then, and you'll still get the vitamin C and all the good nutrition inside it. They'll just not be quite as sweet. Now, because I'm adding honey to my syrup, I don't really need to wait until then, and I've got all the other ingredients that are ripe, so I'm going to harvest some right now while they're still nice and red and ripe, and then I'll just take the seeds out, and it'll be easier to take the seeds out because they'll not be too soft and mushy and the pulp being mixed with the seeds, which can irritate the throat. So yeah, time to harvest. Okay, so here we are in my kitchen, and I am basically taking the stems off the beautiful elderberries that I harvested. And there's a really, really simple trick on how to do that. And so again, what I do is I take off any unripened ones, any of the lighter ones that aren't black, and then you take a fork and you literally simply just run the fork down through the stems of the elderberries, through the little bouquets. And by doing this, all the little berries get pulled off and go into the pan, and then you've got all the stems left, and you can pick up the little bits of stem that are maybe left inside, and here we go. So you do that with all your elderberries, and next I'm going to process the rose hips. So to process these, it's pretty simple. Because I've harvested them when they're quite hard, I'll be able to just slice them in half and take out the little seeds, which are very, very itchy. In fact, as a kid, I used to put them down my friends' t-shirts, and it would scratch them pretty badly. So you don't want to have that in your syrup. So what I tend to do with these rose hips is I cut the little top off, and then I cut them in half. And once you cut them in half, you can literally just scoop out the little seeds. And you just do that for all your rose hips. And what's left is the outer part of the rose hip, without the seeds. And these here can go in the pan with the elderberries. So all the seeds have been removed from the rose hips and they've been added in to the pot. And now I'm just going to add the hawthorn berries. And all I need to do now is boil them in water for maybe about an hour, maybe slightly longer. I'll see how it goes just by the consistency. So there you go, I'm just putting just under a litre. So I've left this simmer for about an hour, and now we've got this lovely decoction of different types of berries and rose hips. So if you were to do a syrup with sugar, you would strain off the liquid, put it back in the pan, and then add equal amounts of sugar in weight to the liquid, and then let that boil down for a little bit. But I'm wanting to do a more medicinal one using honey. So to do this, you need to let the liquid cool down. Now you want it a little bit warm enough so that it will mix with the honey easily enough. But what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to leave this overnight to macerate. So that's just leaving the plant matter in the liquid so that I can draw as much of the qualities of the plants as possible and as much of the nutrients. And after that, I will add the honey. Alrighty, so this has been left overnight, and I've just warmed it up just enough so that the honey will actually dissolve and mix nicely with the mix. And what I'm going to do now is strain off everything. So I've got another pan, I've got a strainer, and it's as simple as pouring it in. Pouring this wonderful, beautiful medicine. And what you want to do is make sure that you can squeeze out all the juice from these. So what I tend to do is I actually, once it's strained in, through all the plant matter, little bits by bits, and then I just squeeze through the strainer to make sure that I get every little last bit of juice that I can. And so here we've got the wonderful decoction, and with that lovely fragrance, and filled with vitamins in here and nutrients and plant medicine, sacred plant medicine. So if I was to do a sugar syrup, I'd be putting 50% of sugar and 50% of the decoction to preserve it. But with honey, it works differently. It's actually much better to put about 40% honey and 60% of your decoction so it lasts longer. Now, there's been numerous studies and there's various theories and reasons why this is the case, but generally you're going to be putting less honey than the decoction in, and that's actually going to last a lot longer. So, you know, it'll probably last for, it'll last for at least 6 months or more. And then it can tend to start fermenting after that, which isn't a huge issue either. But what you want to avoid are molds and any other kind of bacterial growths. So this will assure me that I will be able to keep it for a good long while. So I got this honey in a Polish shop. So in Poland they have loads and loads of honey. It's a huge industry. They've got loads of organic places. I got this in a Polish shop over here, and it tends to be a lot cheaper than the sugary mix that commercial ventures like supermarkets sell. And you know that it's real honey because you've got all the little bits of sediment, and it's a bit thicker and it doesn't look completely clear. You know that there's the pollens and all the little particles and all the natural things that the bees bring into their hives. So this is liquid gold. So I'm just going to pour about 400 mils of this in. Just look at that. Oh my God. Now is the time to combine all the ingredients. So the important part here is that you don't want your decoction to be too hot. If it's above 60 degrees, it's going to completely denature the honey. If it's above 40 degrees, it'll probably still denature some parts of it. So really, I just wait till it's lukewarm, and lukewarm is enough, has enough heat so that it will help dissolve the honey into the liquid. So let's do this. What to then do is give it a good shake so that the honey mixes in really nicely with the berry, the decoctions. And there you have it. This beautiful 3-berry syrup. And it's best stored in the fridge or somewhere cool, and it'll last for months that way. So this is another day, and I've let this set for a while, and what I've discovered is something quite interesting. So usually with honey, the pectin won't tend to turn into a jelly or into a kind of jam, and so hawthorn berries have a high amount of pectin, and pectin is what turns your jam into the kind of jelly substance. So the honey I used is more kind of a nectar, and well, it was quite a surprise when I opened the jar. I basically made a jam somehow, but it's actually really, really nice. So I could actually put this on my bread as well, and it'll also dissolve in tea or in anything you put it in. So I can still take it as medicine, and it's actually really delicious as a spoonful.